Pues estamos aquí en IGN España, vamos a charlar con Edmund McMillen y con Tyler Glaiel sobre un juego que tienen preparado. A Edmund seguramente lo conoceréis por The Binding of Isaac o por Super Meat Boy. Y Tyler también trabajó junto con Edmund en The End This Night. Ahora están trabajando en Mewgenics, un juego de estrategia con gatos y muchas posibilidades locas. Y vamos a charlar con ellos. Sale el 10 de febrero y promete ser uno de los juegos más importantes del año. Tyler, Edmund, so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Okay, so first of all, how would you describe Mewgenics to somebody who is not familiar with your work?
Cat breeding.
There's cats in it.
Cat breeding game.
Yeah.
Cat breeding game.
Yeah, I know that
Breed
doesn't.
cat and take them on adventures.
Yeah, you played it, right?
I played it, yeah.
Yes. Okay. I guess that doesn't describe it, but I think like to initially get somebody in, if we just say it's a weird cat breeding game, that would probably pique their curiosity enough, because I feel like the same people that would want to play a cat breeding game might not want to play something described as a incredibly deep turn-based strategy game. So we got to trick them.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
You breed cats and take them on adventures is probably the simplest way to describe it.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but your job, Tyler, is connected mainly to the technical side of things in the project, and you, Edmund, handle the designs and overall creativity of the project.
We both share designs. I lean towards the like visual designs and story and that sort of stuff, and he leans towards the technical, but the meat and potatoes of the design is shared.
Right. Yeah. That's what I was going for the question. Is there any aspect of the game that you guys work 50-50? And if so, was it difficult to find common ground in some aspects of the game?
Sometimes.
Yeah. It's most of the game is 50-50 for the design stuff.
Yeah. I mean, because
there's a few things that we took mostly to ourselves, but most of the big parts of the game were shared.
There are systems in place in Mewgenics. A lot of systems. There's breathing, there's fighting, cats interacting with environments. I think you said it before, but what would you say is the foundation of the game? Is the breathing part the foundation of the game? Would you consider it?
I don't know. It's all the foundation of the game is a living world.
Okay.
It's all, you can't throw out any piece of it. It's really hard to say what. I mean, most of your time is going to be spent strategizing.
Okay.
That's kind of the thing. But living in the world and breeding these cats is also a major core mechanic of that makes everything else work. I know it's really, it doesn't work without all the pieces, so it's hard to say.
Tyler, this one's for you. What would you say was the most boring and most fun part of the development up until now that is almost over?
We'll start. The fun parts are probably working, designing and implementing the boss fights is probably the most fun part. They're a lot of work. It can be annoying, but that is very fun. Along with designing abilities for the cats is also very fun.
Going on this, I just fought a game before the interview. I was playing a run and I encountered, I'm in the sewers, I'm early game. But I fought a boss that I thought it was really fun. That it was like a blob that pushed all my cats in the same direction every turn. And I thought I was because do you have a lot of bosses like that doesn't necessarily attack? They have like a gimmick and you have to play around it.
Yeah, that's a mini boss, and most of the mini bosses, at least early on in the game, most of the mini bosses were designed around one gimmick. So that boss that was the Flush Master.
Yeah, that's right.
The original gimmick of that boss was that initial word in my head for when I was working on that one was surfing.
Okay. Yeah.
Where essentially in the first version of the boss, he didn't switch directions. He would just keep going in the same direction, and you had to climb your way up the rocks to reach him and hit him. And it made it more interesting to just have him teleport and switch directions every turn. So you're reconfiguring where you need to position your cats to not hit the spiked rocks or stuff. But the boss does one thing, and the fight is based around how you're interacting with that one thing, and that's the perfect mini boss. So
yeah, right, it's a really good one. Most of the mini bosses are also there to teach you things. You might not know that you're learning things, but that boss forces you to realize that cats get wet when they get wet. And that could be important in some ways. At least it maybe makes you go, why are my cats wet? What does that do? Why is that a thing? It also, like Tyler said, it pushes your cats back. So it makes you pay attention to space and be like, wait, if I stack my cats together and then they run into each other, they take contact damage. And that defines contact damage. And then there's the movement aspect of it too, where for the most part, especially in the beginning of the game, you're not going to be able to get to the Fleshmaster unless you've got a movement ability. So it kind of pushes that, makes you realize, oh, I might need a movement ability in order to do things in this game.
So Tyler, that was the fun part. What was the boring part?
Let's see. It's a lot of the recent stuff that I was working on like a month ago. Let's see. UI is pretty boring. And localization support is pretty boring work. There's a lot of just like, oh, this text box needs to be rigged up for localization.
I think UI in this game is particularly well designed because you have like interactive UI in a lot of places. When you're in the house, you can click like the poops, for example. That you didn't have to add that. It just adds a little bit of immersion. But you say like building the thing is not like, it's not as fun as making bosses, I guess.
Yeah. No, it's extremely boring. And the other thing is like, because it is so important, like the UI is important. Like it's a very important part of this game particularly. It's not always the most important part of a game, but you know, so because it's so important, we can't like outsource the UI and be like, hey, you random programmer and like artist, make a UI for equipping items. Like that wouldn't work. We would get like probably like a generic RPG style menu for that. But like I do really like the item equipping menu that we have with the backpack.
Yeah, it is good.
Because when we got that menu in place, everybody just knew how to use it immediately. And it's obvious just from like how it looks and how it functions. That was like the second revision of that menu, but when you get it like that correct, and that's the type of thing that you can only like land on if you actually understand like what the game is.
For what it's worth, I really like the mechanic of grabbing the cat in the house and just moving it around, and it comes with the inertia and can fly away. It's really good, really well implemented. And there's something curious that happens, at least happened to me in your games. When I played Super Meat Boy or The Binding of Isaac, I sucked at the beginning. I sucked so bad, but it came a time in the game, I don't know, in Isaac was maybe at 10 hours in, that something clicked in my head and I became John Wick. I mean, dodging everything and understanding how the core mechanic worked. How long would you say it takes in Mewgenics to reach that point?
I'd say 10 hours.
10 hours.
I think the 10 to 12 hour point of the game. So Mewgenics has a mom kill. Just like Binding of Isaac, there's a point in the game where you think you finished it, and then it reveals itself to you and introduces a ton more mechanics to make things more complicated. And in this game, it's beating Act 1, so the 2 end caps, which you've not seen yet, but there's the caves, which comes after the sewers. You probably just unlocked that.
Yep.
Beat the caves, and then if you go the other way, do junkyard, and then do the boneyard. You beat those areas, the game opens up. That's like killing mom in this game, and that takes about 10 to 12 hours. Could be less depending on your skill level, but that's when the game opens up and kind of puts more puzzle pieces into the mix, but also gives you kind of an aha moment where you're like, oh, by that point you've probably seen a mutation. You probably bred an ability from a class into a kitten, and now you're getting interactions with more NPCs that are doing more things for you, and the game takes you off the rails completely and lets you go do whatever you want to do. And I think that's when people usually start getting it. The game has so much going on that what I've noticed is, especially since I'm doing Let's Plays, I play fast and loose. I just like to have fun and get the job done. Sometimes I'll min-max or I'll hyper-focus on one combo. But sometimes I'll read the comments and people will point out, they won't point it out, they'll ask a question. They'll say, if you did this, couldn't you just do this? And I'm like, I didn't even think about that. And then somebody else will propose another question on the same run that I never thought about at all. And it's like, you can go so so open that it should let someone see I can do this, you know, at least one of these 1,000 options, and each of those make you feel smart.
Having played like a couple of hours, I can see what you're talking about, because for me, one thing that opened up just a little bit was the first time I got the second passive in a cat, and I realized I could do some crazy combinations 2 hours in the game. So you're telling me by 10 hours that it's going to multiply.
Oh my God, no! Once you start getting items, getting like rare items, or very rare items, bringing them back to the house and realizing, like, why would I want to lower my intelligence, but like also lower the casting cost of all my spells? And you're like, wait, I had a run with a fighter who had like these different passives that cared about him being stupid. I'm gonna see what my odds are with this. I'm gonna bring this on an adventure and see if I can draft into this archetype. And sometimes you do, and sometimes you find a completely different use for it. And then it gets crazy. You just start. It's a game of memory, basically. You start being like, wait a minute, wasn't there a thing that like did spawn coins whenever I hit something? I have an ability that whenever I pick up a coin, I shoot something. You know what I mean? Like, you start to see those combos.
A thing that occurred to me based on your previous work, Super Meat Boy, for example, is an action-based, action, reaction, reflexes-based game. The Binding of Isaac is also an action game because you have to dodge a lot of projectiles, but strategy comes in place because you have to consider, okay, is this how you're gonna break my build? Is good for me? How is this gonna work with this with my build, with my items? And Mewgenics is a pure strategy. You have to think of your strategy game. So you created a big game that made you act, one that made you act and think, and now this one makes you think to if you want to win. Was this a type of game that you always wanted to make, or did you fell in love with the genre with age and experience?
I always wanted to make it, but I will blame that I'm old. I'm old and I'm not as agile as I was. Tyler's young.
I mean, I've also always wanted to make a game like this. It's a hard genre, right?
I think the reality here is the reason why we made this game, the reason why we chose to do this type of game, is because Tyler and I, so we live next to each other. We play games every week, and we play a shitload of board games, and we played a great number of board games over the years. And I think that our brains just kind of leaned into that, like, strategy. Magic the Gathering is something we used to play every weekend, and I hope we will once this ends. We'll be playing it more. But that it's that type of thinking, I think, that really, I don't know, it scratches an itch even when designing a game like this, that I think that we've been scratching for a while and still need to scratch. I think we've just been living in that world.
Talking of board games, any specific one that inspired you to put something in Mewgenics?
There's so many. Many.
Some of the big ones. I mean, Ed mentioned Magic the Gathering and like D&D and stuff. There was another game that we played a lot as we were like formulating the core concepts, like the base ideas for Mewgenics, which was Kingdom Death Monster. I don't know if you've heard about that one.
I did not.
It's weird. It's
a weird one.
A dark one. Yeah, it's a narrative one.
Yeah. You had like a settlement with people in it, and you would take them out to hunt monsters for food. Like one monster at a time. It was like a boss rush kind of thing. And the people would get, fucked up on these fights and get like disorders and like have their arms ripped off and stuff. And then they had to go back to the settlement to craft new items for the next fight and like breed children and stuff. It sounds very similar when I'm describing it that way. But yeah.
Talking about the adventure, something that comes to mind, when I have my cat squad, all the cats are different. I guess they are generated randomly. But I saw that the objects you have, like armor and helmets and everything fits. Was that difficult to do? Because I have a cat with a big ass head, and I had a little small cap or something, and it fits and it looks good on the cat. Was that difficult to implement?
Tyler just made a node that says hat.
Hats. And I
go through and I put the hat. If the head's really long, then I put the hat at the top. I just do that hundreds of times.
So there's a lot of manual labor.
It's not difficult, but there is a lot of it. That's what most of this game's development was.
Yeah,
nothing individually was difficult. There's just a lot of it.
It's a lot of work. A lot of people are like, why do the cats look like that? Like, why do they look like paper dolls? Why do they just have little? It's like that's like an incredibly important aspect of the game. That lays the groundwork for everything. Like that's how we generate everything. So the cat has these many pieces, and each of let's just take one piece, one eye. that eye is actually hundreds and hundreds of different eyes. That goes from basic eyes to mutated eyes to very mutated eyes to enemy eyes, etc. Like it's this giant timeline of eyes, and every aspect of the cat.
Closed version of the eye as well.
And the mouths have to have a smile and an open mouth and a closed mouth. It's just drawing hundreds of little teeny tiny things that are extremely important in this game in order to make things work the way they work. And in the same thing is in the head, I put the nodes. If your head is super deformed or whatever else, maybe your hat is generated off to the side of a lump, and your necklace is generated off to the other side because your head's actually going this way. And then your face, like I have to define where a mask would go on a cat's face. I do my best. You do what you can.
Yeah, that's why all the equipment is attached to just the head of the cat and not the body and the tail.
Ones that are particularly funny are the breathing animations. I found two. Like a classic one, I won't go further, but a one that the both cats.
Oh, you saw that one.
I saw that one and made me laugh. And I said, "What the hell are they doing?" And they
we're gonna add more. We're adding more right now.
Please do.
Yeah, those are a lot of fun. We did those last minute right before we sent you guys codes. I think they had gone up and just got sounds. And I think we're gonna get a few more. There's quite a few. I mean, this game is about, like, right now, my job is essentially going through and adding random frames to things. So like when you see things, they're just slightly different each time. Maybe you'll notice them, maybe you won't. I spent last night drawing 120 frames of different things that are written on the gravestone in the intro behind our tombstones.
Yeah, because that changes.
Oh no, wait, is this text?
Right?
It's not text. I drew it.
Okay. Oh.
I'm not telling the locals that they're not doing anything with it. It's a decoration. It's a decoration. Most of them are drawing.
Because everything you're talking about localization, I will take the opportunity to ask, because we're in Spain, IGN Spain. Will the game be on Spanish on launch, or when can we expect it in different languages? Because there's a lot of text.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Spanish is being targeted for launch. The localizers have a deadline of like a week before launch to finish this stuff, which they say they're going to hit. So yeah. We will have what we're going for is Spanish, German, Italian, and Brazilian, Portuguese for launch, and then more after that. I think it's taking like 3 months to localize the game, so future languages will probably take around the same time, 3 months, I guess, depending on when we start them. But we do want to, I mean, you have to be able to read to play this game, which is another unique thing for us. Like, I don't think either of us have made a game that has required that yet. The end is nigh. You can symbolically indicate a lot of the controls of the game, and you don't need to understand what the NPCs are saying to play the game, because it's a platformer and mostly self-explanatory. But this game is, if you can't read what the abilities do, then good luck.
Yeah.
I mean, we do have unique art for all of them, and there are enough numbers on them and icons that maybe somebody could guess what things do, but like we know that's not a good way to play the game. So we're gonna get all the important, like, popular languages in there.
Now that you talk about reading and statistics, the game is huge, has a lot of possibilities, but I realized that the interface and the main skills are kind of simple. You have like strength, vitality, but there are a lot of parameters that get in place at the same time. Can you talk about some of these invisible stats that the player can't see but are definitely taking place when you play? For example, you talked about, I heard you talked about that the cats have libido, for example.
Oh yeah. You will see that though eventually. We don't want to overload you right in the beginning. Like, we're really spoon feeding you. It might not seem that way. I mean, oh my God, there's so much stuff. But we're spoon feeding you bits and pieces as you go, and you'll discover more. I'm pretty sure we have visual representations of basically everything in the game eventually once you've unlocked it.
Yeah.
We don't really want you to hyper focus on the cat's libido right in the beginning of the game. It's kind of fun to have that mystery. Like, is this cat gay? Is this cat asexual? What's going on?
Are they aggressive?
Yeah, what's going on with this cat? It's fun to have that for a little while, but once you get much further in the game, all that information is kind of given to you.
So if I found a cat version of Edmund McMillen and Tyler Glaiel meowing outside my house in Mewgenics, and I decided to take you in, which is an important decision, what would you think would you like to become if I choose you for an adventure?
Did we do the thing where we made it so human cats can't breed with cats?
Oh yeah, no, we're tagged as not breeding.
Yeah, so
theoretically, no breeding, no breeding. I mean,
the handful of human-esque strays are tagged as no breeding.
Imagine that you guys are already in the box. You're going away, and I had to select a class.
What classes
would you take? Yeah, for example, yeah, based on your experience playing video game, not specifically what do you play Mewgenics? What do you think you will be?
I don't think you've unlocked the class.
Yeah, I know the Tyler. I know Tyler's class. I think I'd be the necromancer or the dumb fighter. One of those two.
I would be. It's a light blue class that you get in Act 2 somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's keep it a secret. So, based on your experience playing the game, well, first of all, did you beat the game? Like the final version of the game, both of you?
I beat the game.
Ed has. I've not beat it on my save file yet.
Okay.
When you're working on it in like I work on it a lot in like the debug menu where I can like skip ahead and skip around, and I'm working in that so much that it's sort of like my actual save file is about halfway through the game, and my goal is to beat it in under 50 hours, but it's also I have to have the time to do that when I'm also trying to work on all this shit.
Of course.
I tried to do that and I failed. I'm at 40 hours, Tyler, and it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I think I'm at like 25 hours in that file, and I had one wasted run because we've resolved the reason why I had a wasted run after, but I didn't realize that I hadn't done a thing that like a prerequisite to the thing I was trying to do yet.
Just for curiosity, Edmund, how many hours did you have in your run that is completed?
It was 260 hours when I completed it.
Okay.
It's about 300 now, but I started a new one. Like I said, I'm about 40 hours and I've got a ways to go.
I
think I could do it in like 15 or 20 hours though, if I really tried.
15 or 20 hours?
No, 20 more than 40.
Yeah, no, it's not happening in 15 or 20 hours. I do think under 50 is possible for people that are beelining towards the end and know how to play going. 200 is probably where the average player will land by the time they get to the ending. And people who are
they're
really
focused
good
on beating it. Because there are many things that will pull your eye as you go.
If they get the game immediately and understand it and like are good at it right away, I think like 130 hours is around where like the best like first time tester that we've had has reached. Somewhere around there. If they're like not doing side quests and stuff, but like most people will get distracted and do some of the side quests because they're fun and interesting.
So based on your experience and avoiding spoilers, of course, what do you think is the best thing that can happen during a run and the worst?
The worst is running into Baphomet.
I don't know what that means, but sounds scary.
I think running into Baphomet and then getting blood frenzy or feline AIDS really early. That's probably the worst case scenario. Be careful.
I will. And the best, one of the best passives that you like getting when with a new cat.
The best ones are all tied to like crazy event stuff.
Yeah. Right. Well, the best passive is Skillshare, I think.
Yeah, you don't have that. Don't worry about it.
Or Mini Me. Mini Me is pretty good too.
It's Mini Me is way more fun than it is good. I rarely win with Mini Me, but it's so fun. Like,
can you say what it does, Mini Me, or is spoiler territory?
Why don't you guess? Guess
Mini Me.
Yeah, Mini Me.
I don't know. Knowing your work, maybe a tumor pops out of your head and do something. Does something close?
No,
okay.
it makes a half size version of you.
Right.
Exactly, completely AI controlled, and it's just a copy. It has all your items, it has all your abilities, and it does what it wants to do. But it's just half of you. Sometimes it does what you want. Sometimes it does what it wants.
I mean, it's a cat.
Yeah. It's fun.
Was there something during the development of the game that made you think, this would be great, but it was literally impossible to implement at that point?
I mean, I throw stuff at Tyler all the time, and he wants to shoot me because I say, "Can we do this?" And he's like, "No, stop."
Was there any time, Tyler, that Edmund came to you with a crazy idea that you said, "No way, and ended up doing.
Oh
and it
yeah,
worked.
like a week ago and like 2 weeks ago and like 3 weeks, like constantly.
Do you remember any that you
Oh.
implemented that were a little much? Do you remember anything that I suggested that was like a bit much, but then you did do it?
That's what. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Because I like a character like picking up and using the cat as a weapon. I'm pretty sure that was me that originally. Well,
Yeah, that was
that was me originally. But I'm like, I think we could do this, and I implemented it. And then Ed's like, we want to do this on like every fucking character that we're making now. Every like boss, like
it's such
you know,
a cool
this,
mechanic.
You know, like this is not like an ability that you could just like throw on a character and have it work. You have to like quadruple the number of animations that the character needs, and there's like 6 like scaffolding like abilities that need to go along with it, like the struggle ability for the cat when it's their turn.
Yeah, that did open up a big can of worms.
They're being used as a weapon.
But when
when
you see a boss pick up your cat and not just like break its neck, but pick it up and be like, all right, this cat's mine now, and it walks around hitting other things with it. How is that not going to be the coolest thing to use other places? Like it's got to be used other places.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many possibilities here. Like you could eat the cat, or you could, you know, there's just so many fun things.
Oh, what? No, one of the ideas that Ed said that we did not do is he's like, I want this boss to eat you, and then it spawn a random event.
Yes, I still want to do that. Because
imagine repeat the boss eating you and then spawning.
Imagine a boss consumes you, and then it goes out of combat into an event where there's a string of events that you like, you have to go down the esophagus, and now you're in the stomach.
Oh my god!
And you know, exactly, that's what Tyler said.
Yeah, and then return back to the fucking combat after that.
So
I'd like to
almost like
future,
like a God of War, like mashing button sequence.
Basically, it's a cutscene. It's an interactive cutscene that's static, but there are technical issues with this, which is why we didn't do it.
Yeah. On the other hand, an interactive cutscene that interrupts combat would probably be easier.
Right. I don't know how difficult it is to design a system where a lot of things can happen when you're not in control. For example, I was playing earlier and I was in the sewers and I walked with my cat. An harpoon hit me. My cat fell off, bumped into another cat. That cat got hit by another harpoon. I mean, I spent 5 seconds without control, just watching chaos on the screen. Is that difficult to, I mean, you can't predict that because the user is going to go where it's going to go. Is that difficult to implement that freedom, or how do you do it?
No, you just got to be careful with the level design.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a complicated thing for like a technical standpoint, because when you don't know everything that can happen, you can end up with situations like this is possible with the harpoons, but if you arrange them in like a square in the right way, you can have the harpoons pull the cat in a circle.
Right. How do you avoid that?
So there's that's the question. It's like how to avoid it. And most of the time, stuff like that is like, okay, well, if this is infinite looping, then we got to put like a limit on like 10. So after 10 harpoons, then it's not going to harpoon again, this action. And then you have to move again to trigger it. Just like little things to like break these sort of infinite loops that would stop on. But with the game this big, you have to, there's a lot of that type of stuff that can happen.
You want to tell them about the fuzz tester?
Unpredictable. Oh yeah, the fuzz tester. That's usually how I find these types of things, is that I have a mode in the game called the fuzz tester, which runs the game as fast as the computer can run it, which is something like 20,000 frames per second.
Jesus.
So extremely fast. It'll go through a whole combat in less than a second. And I run that overnight, and then I monitor it. And whenever it stops winning combats in a second, it says there's something that happened with this level, or the game crashed. It's either infinite looping, frozen, or crashing. Cuts the level. It saves the random seed that the test was generated with, and then I can replay that in the morning and see what happened and try to fix the loops. And
do you remember any funny crash or loop? Because with these possibilities,
daily.
Yeah. Well, we had the other day I found Guillotina, which is a boss that we've shown before, whose main gimmick is eating cats. Somehow ate herself.
Okay.
Yeah,
it makes sense though. It makes sense when you found it.
It makes sense when I described how it happens. But it is a very specific situation. Like a cat needed to have abilities from 2 different classes, and the fight needed to be in the exact right position. It needed to be a certain class, and when all the things lined up perfectly, Guillotine ate herself, and the game crashed.
It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fun game.
The coolest game crash ever.
Yeah, nobody will ever encounter that game crash either. I mean, it is fixed, but even if I shipped the game with that crash in place, like that would never happen. You would not get those two abilities on that cat. It's so specific, but you know, making sure that that crash doesn't happen means that any other situations that may have triggered a similar crash also won't happen. So makes the game more solid and less likely to crash. And there's so few crash bugs from actual users at this point that I feel like that's done its job.
Changing the subject a little bit, achievements or trophies are a big thing on your games, Edmund, or in the years, like Super Meat Boy is super challenging, and The Binding of Isaac it is as well. And many people are seduced by the challenge of completing them at 100%. How difficult would you say Mewgenics is compared to Super Meat Boy or The Binding of Isaac, completing it 100%?
I don't know.
I think it's less difficult, but I think it is more time consuming. Maybe not Isaac.
It's hard to say.
I think Isaac is crazy.
I think it depends on the person, really. For Tyler, it might not be.
I did not go for 100% in Isaac. Well, I did for like Rebirth, and then I have not kept up with the expansions for 100%ing the achievements. In that
I
game.
tried before the change on Chaos. After the change of Chaos, I thought this is too difficult to find. But in Mewgenics, for example, do you think like there's not as much as RNG, I think, or I saw so far?
I mean, there is.
I don't think we have any RNG achievements in Mewgenics.
No.
They are all just basic progression stuff right now.
Yeah, right now it's
We have like 100 more like fun ones that we have not implemented yet, and I think those will just be in an update later.
It's just the bare bones stuff. Yeah. Like you haven't gotten there yet, but the game is set up very much like Isaac, where once you get to an end cap, every class gets an unlock. In the beginning, it's just kind of padding out different abilities that you may be missing in the beginning, and then it becomes items, and we just give you the items, so you'll get them right away, come home with them, and get to play with them. But the basic idea is very similar to Isaac, where you get checkpoints, and there's a whole like little hover. You can hover over your cat's icons and see where you've been and where you need to go and what you've beaten and what you haven't, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and some of the other like crazier challenges we don't include in 100%. So
how do you guys balance the items power? Because when you select a class, you can always tell which ability is going to draft or which passive in a selection. But when you pick an item of an event or something, the item can be, you can put the item in any cat. How do you balance that not being OP?
We kind of don't anymore. I mean, it's balanced by a new mechanic. Well, I'm not even going to say it's a new mechanic anymore because then people will want it to not be.
Okay.
Items, when you use an item, it becomes worn, and worn items can break at the end of a run. So on average, you get like 2.5 runs with an item, and it helps you let go of things, but also helps players that are having a harder time maybe get a little bit of a leg up on a run. Maybe makes you a little too confident, and then you fly too close to the sun and you die. But we have a system in place how we balance items, and it's basically common items are usually very easy to understand. Uncommon items have more going on to them. Rare items usually have a negative and then a big positive, and then rare items are just all over the place, but usually very complicated. Some of those items can be, on average, pretty good. Some of them can be completely busted in the right build.
Right.
We want to keep them loose so we can let the player have fun finding uses for things that may seem useless, or carry you if you need some help. They're not forever. I mean, that's what the game's about, right? Nothing is forever.
So considering all the abilities, items, I remember playing The Binding of Isaac. They had a lot of crazy runs where I was like destroying. I mean, I broke the run a couple of times. Is there a way to break? Did you guys break? You could break Mewgenics or no? Or is it more controlled?
Oh, you can break Mewgenics.
You can break it. Okay.
Oh,
so you can build a cat or buff a cat in a way that when he attacks, it wipes a whole board. Can that happen? Okay.
One of our testers just posted a video of him beating the final boss with one cat.
Okay.
Without the final boss taking a turn.
You can do crazy stuff like that, but there's also basic combos that you can really go crazy with. Like Danielle, my wife, last night was playing a run. She got blood frenzy and she wanted to quit, but she was a few into the second chapter, the junkyard, and she drafted the ability greed step on her thief that had blood frenzy. And basically, if there was a coin in the back behind where the enemies were, she would teleport, kill the first enemy, and then the thief would kill everyone. And if the stars aligned, then the thief would come back. He would come for you at the end, right? He wants to kill more. But usually he would run into the tank, and the tank wouldn't die, and it would basically be over if there was usually one enemy left. Or if she lucked out and it just wiped all the enemies out, then you're fine. It's you know, that's the end. So like you don't need to go crazy deep combos and go infinite. You can find some interesting strategies. There's usually really crazy silver linings to some of the more severe disorders, and I think a lot of people initially will go into this game and be like, oh god, I got this disorder, it's so debilitating, this sucks. And then they'll see a use for it, and then that'll become like the core of the run is this disorder that you thought that was completely game ending.
With all these mechanics, all these possibilities in place, I bet the game continues to surprise you even today, like in its last state. What was the last thing you discovered that you could do in Mewgenics that you didn't think you could do?
That stuff happens constantly. The press Discord where people are posting stuff about what they're doing. And like people are just posting stuff that I'm like, I've never seen that before. And like that makes sense, but I've not seen that yet. The last thing that I discovered was there's like there's a couple of abilities that like spells that copy the effects of your basic attack. Like if your basic attack would inflict poison, this ability also would inflict poison. And I found out accidentally that if you put that on a cleric and attack a teammate, it'll heal them, because that's what the cleric's basic attack does.
And the poison became a healing over time, or how did it work?
No, the cleric's attack has a heal effect on it, where it'll heal allies instead of damaging them. This ability copies the effects of your basic attack, so it heals your allies instead of damaging them.
The last one that I did was kind of the one that I was talking about, where I was looking through comments on my latest Let's Play, and somebody asked, theoretically, so there's an ability, there's an item called the generator. It goes around your neck, and it says whenever you spend 12 mana in a turn, then gain all stats up and something else, some big buff. And then I think he also had Magic Guru or whatever, which made it so whenever you cast, whenever a unit spends 10 mana, you get an extra attack. And someone pointed out, like if I had put the generator on my mage, he had an ability called Give Mana. So it costs 3 mana and it gives 2 mana to another ally. And I could just keep pumping that in until I drained down to nothing. And I almost could spend, I think it was 9 mana that I could spend in order to do that. And then he also had an ability called, what was it?
Borrow mana.
Borrow mana. So then I could have, and I should have borrowed the mana back, taken all the mana that I gave it back, then keep recasting it again, and then it would have totally made the generator go off, and my guy would have been busted. It's not infinite. It's the minute mana's going down by 1 each time, but it's still like, oh, I didn't even think to do that. I was trying to do a different thing because I really wanted my fighter to get extra attacks, but I think it was fine. But either way, it's interesting to see those things and be like, oh, yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that. And again, it's always proposed as a question, like theoretically, would this work? And it's usually yes.
Usually, yeah. That's the idea. That if the things that you want to try work, then we've done our job correctly, and that's how this game thrives. It's like, oh, what if I do this? That seems like it should work, and then it will work.
So reaching that philosophy, that objective, is why Mewgenics took 6 years to make. Did you guys had time to play all the video games in this 6-year period? Have you played any video game that really you really remember? 6
years is a long time, and yeah, I do still play a lot of games. What, like Elden Ring is included in these 6 years?
I think it is. It's 2020, yeah.
Yeah, the Elden Ring is in there. There is a little bit of Elden Ring inspiration in Mewgenics. I think there's we love the way that the map opens up in Elden Ring, like how it hides how big it is at the start of the game, which everybody loves that part about that game. It's such a inspiring thing to do, and we're maybe ruining it by talking about how big the game is all the time, but most people are not going to be listening to every pre-release interview we do, and they will be surprised by the size of the game.
And in your case, Edmund, any game that comes to mind?
I played Elden Ring. I mean, the ones that come to mind are Elden Ring and Balatro.
Balatro is
Balatro is a good one too.
Like I said, we play a lot of board games. Those are the ones that stand out. I don't play as many video games unless you count Magic Arena as a video game.
6 years is a long time. There's a lot of games that came out.
I'm just trying to think of what I've played that I've sat down to play. I mean, I went back and I played a bit through Slay the Spire in that 6 year period. I played a little original Spelunky in that 6 year period.
Oh,
Elden Ring, Balatro.
Yeah, Spelunky 2 came out.
UFO.
UFO 50
that's a good one.
I played a lot of UFO. Oh, and I did play almost to the end of Baby Steps when it was before release. I really like Baby Steps.
Last question. Thank you guys for your time. What is next for you? What are your plans after the game releases? I guess relax for a little bit, but then
DLC.
Yeah, more Mewgenics.
More Mewgenics DLC.
The thing that people don't get that is very hard for us is the fact that the game has really only completely showed us what it is over the past year. And about 2 years ago, maybe 2+ years ago, we said scope-wise, we needed to lock the game down in order to finish it. We started to put ideas into a DLC tab. And it's hard to not want to jump into that. It's very hard to stop. And but I know that it's not only is it, it would extend the game's development by a lot, but I know for a fact that when this game comes out, watching people play and watching how people play is going to be so inspiring that we're probably going to end up coming up with tons more ideas that are even better than the ideas that we had a couple years ago. That's what I'm looking forward to.
It's hard not to just be like, here's a random fucking idea for a mini boss mechanic we haven't used yet. Which is wild because at this point it does, at least after the final boss was done, it sort of felt like we had covered all of the bases that we could. And then immediately say, wait a second. There's still so much more.
Yeah,
random ideas show up.
When you said it would be easier to do a cutscene instead of an event in the middle of combat. Like serious, because we do basically an event that just like a choose your own adventure type cutscene in the middle of combat.
No, that's not a cutscene.
We can't branch it in any way. Can we randomly flip a coin and it randomly chooses these two different paths? This is what development is like.
Yeah. Right. No.
I mean, you can randomly pick a cutscene to play when you do that, but
because
playing a cutscene, the game stops doing shit when the cutscenes play. That's the part that it interrupts everything to play the cutscene, and then it can return back to where it was. That's why the cutscene would work. Whereas the event outcomes thing, where the cat is getting modified in a way that only works when you're not in combat, and then having to return to the same combat that you were already in instead of starting a new combat. That's the thing that would make the event thing difficult. Whereas play a cutscene, that's just playing.
It's good to know. I mean, I like to know these inner workings, but it's just at the end of the development when we started to do cutscenes. You have not seen this yet. Outside of the cats, when you start an adventure, it shows the 4 cats and the cats coming home. So those are cutscenes essentially. Yeah. And there are future cutscenes that you're going to actually see your cats in cutscenes interacting with things, and that's really cool. But it was a very late implementation, so we didn't use it a ton. It's just in a handful of cutscenes, and my mind is just like, okay, imagine we do a really crazy boss that is his attack is literally a cutscene, grabbing your cat and pulling it apart, and how cool would that
we
be?
could do that. It'd be like those, it'd be like that one ability in in Final Fantasy VII, where it plays like a 2-minute cutscene of the blowing up all the planets while a meteor blowing up all the planets on the way to the Earth.
Right. Yeah. But no,
Like-
yeah, the possibilities are there. Like it's all the doors are opening.
Okay, do you think any particular mechanic comes to mind that maybe came out like in the past month or so, and you said, "Wow, this could be cool," and you thought the first thing you thought was, "Okay, this DLC material, not now, but we could revisit it later."
I mean, most
all the time.
we talk about it like every Friday while we're playing games and stuff. I'm sure everybody else in the room eyes are glazing over while we're discussing and arguing about different mechanics we want to flesh out and how we can do X, Y, and Z. But yeah, for me too, there's a lot of story in the game. Story is a bad word. I usually don't like the word stories, but there's a lot of character development in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And over the course of the game, these characters develop in different ways and kind of reveal themselves to you. And right now, when the game ends, there are some soft closes on different characters, but there's just so many ideas that I want to explore with these characters that I'm excited to do, if that makes sense. Like, I think the game gets pretty grand, and I think we can go further.
Yeah. Like, I think a couple of the characters definitely have like conclusive like story ends.
Yeah.
In this game, like the main ones do. But there's a bunch of side ones that, you know, we could explore. Those they're full stories in DLCs.
Yep.
Well, we will be looking forward to that, but most of all, we will be looking forward to Mewgenics when it launches 10th of February. So best of luck, both of you. I played the game for a couple of hours. I have a lot to do, but so far I'm loving it. So I hope a lot of people love it, and only wish you good luck and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.